think so. Hold on. How do you pull it down? Okay. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
All right.
This is a tort song to my sister, struggling to end things and begin again, challenged and oppressed by the system, misunderstood by those who raised them, sisters among men, simply trying not to give in. This is a tort song for all women. Each and every one of us hurting in some parts of the world, stone burned, point blank, murdered for infractions inferred, not proven, convicted of actions and behaviors we Western women associate with freedom so basic that we've taken its liberty for granted in tragic ways. Women are burning, cornered by mobs of venomous patriarchal oppression, doused with gasoline, lit afire, inflamed by patriarchal poisons, broken on a pyre of male lunacy. All skulls, crossbones, and piracy, all rape, sabotage, and thievery. The witch hunts are a staple of fundamentalist supremacy. Look out your front window. Salem is burning again. They are coming for someone else. Are you going to let them take them? Women's heads are spiked upon the highest of stakes that comprise the gates we're tortured within. We've got to start getting together to start addressing the situation of women, no matter what you might call the movement. Move within it, find a place of balance within yourself that accepts and respects another's attempt at this, and begin this. Pioneer your own path, but do it. There are women dying in the arms of men whose lives descended through women. Surely there is some interpretation of the Bible that determines this ludicrous, marks the killing of our mothers en masse as a sign of God's apocalypse. We must stop this. Something is hurting in men willing to desecrate the feminine. We need to do something. Woo! I don't even know if I need a mic. Like, I feel like if I step back and go like this, what's up? Y'all are hearing me. Hey. So, I've got a beautiful little person in my home who came from my body. And he literally is Joy because that's his last name. But he has been such an instrumental part in how I feel like I've developed my voice as a writer and how I've come into myself as an artist. So this is in dedication to my amazing little person whose name is Harlow Mingus Joy. I love you, Harlow Mingus Joy. I love you, Harlow Mingus Joy. I love you, Harlow Mingus, love you, Harlow Mingus, love you, Harlow Mingus Joy. I love you, Harlow Mingus Joy. I love you, Harlow Mingus Joy. I love you, Harlow Mingus, love you, Harlow Mingus, love you, Harlow Mingus Joy. Son of light, you changed this life. When you came forth within it that winter's night, a long-awaited, awe-inspiring surprise, a force of nature come to intertwine these lives. Limbs articulated, features defined, lungs bellowing forth a warrior's cry, perfectly alien, fragile, human, awestruck in my wonderment for you, in my reverence of you, so deeply and truly in love with you in only a second or two, deeper than cartilage and tissue, deeper than blood through sinew and muscle, thief of my heart, now the constant of my mind, a motivation to change in ways I couldn't have if you hadn't come in time. And the beautiful thing is, it is not only I who sing your praises. We are the many who love you, a community that lovingly devotes to you. Those of us who love you, we are a fortress around you. We wear your hopes as halos on our hearts and the wings we use to protect you. We surround you, oceans deep and star sky high, committed to ensuring your light will shine into the world. You have humbled me, brought into being all that faith has been whispering. Constantly I find myself questioning how such a little person bears so much wisdom, and then come into remembering that that is the infinite value of you, to force the arrogant me to rethink how I perceive everything, how you bring me down to earth when I I must bend myself to lift you into my arms, to discover that in lifting you, you lift me within a hug, inside a kiss, and I am reminded that tenderness can exist in this world. You have been a gift of wondering since you arrived, a beautiful gift of an endless surprise. Oh, you are my one and only, you are my one and only, you are my one and only, you are my one and only. I love you, Holomingus joy. I love you, Holomingus joy. I love you, Holomingus, love you, Holomingus, love you, Holomingus joy. Woo! The motherly emotion got into my voice, and then I couldn't be as diva as I wanted to be. All right. So this is for the ancestors, and I feel like this poem calls them into our skin, and calls them into the space, and calls them into our bodies, and calls them into our breath. And in this month that we have, that they've so graciously dedicated to us, Black History Month, thank you. Right? I'm gonna take advantage to speak when I can speak, you know, but most especially, this poem is for the ancestors who fill up 365 days of this year in melanated skin, and skin that does not want to admit that it's melanated. This is the passage. It is there, deeply there. Coal long stressed into diamonds, the skeletons embedded under an illegal construction of a post-racial identity on the indigenous landscape of the South. These bones, they lay restless, dance twisted underneath the surface. These fossils wishing to fuel a reclamation of personhood Africans have yet to mine from the core of themselves. Start here. Enter back into the village, though you do not think you know this, it is there. And the part of you that feels something missing, it is there. And the hollow echo of something better in this life than what you are living, it is there. In the loneliness of the loneliness, it is there. In the inability to locate true happiness, it is there. In the over-medication of your depressed state, it is there. This emptiness is the ground zero of your decimated village, with no elders to guide you, no healers to heal you, no spirit to intuit you, no griots to inform you. It seems close to impossible to locate this authentic you, but it is there. It can recall being stolen from here. It maps this event as the birth of your nightmare. Recall this fear of not knowing who, what, when, why, where, of your kidnapping away from here. While you were pushed through the bush exhausted, look to your right, to your left, to feel the coffle around your neck, repossess all the number of ways you would have thought to free yourself, swallow the disappointment of futile attempts, bear the heaviness of the trauma, the stress, the depressed, until you are delivered into the hands of white men, and the perverseness of it all is multiplied a millionfold. From cellular memory, pull up what English in its complexities has no words to describe, but inadequately label slavery. Retrace the journey. Try to sit in the midst of our entangled bodies. When you are pushed back onto the length of yourself, sense yourself abraded against the rough wooden plank. No crucifixion without the luxury of extended arms or death. Experience independently chills, dysentery, gangrene, scurvy, biri-biri, yellow fever, hepatitis, bilious, malaria, smallpox. Your body a petri dish, run amok, then string each of them after the other with no break or pause from the constant barrage of disease and discharge. Connect with eating swill from a bucket surrounded in the stench of piss, puke, and shit. Cope with the inevitability that you will swallow some of it, that sickness, defecation, and excrement are now a daily part of your body's nourishment. Feel menstrual cycles, miscarriages, and births as the same, a delivery of a beautiful thing into death. Feel the carnage, the sick, of existing in the stink of the moistness of body fluids, like blood, like urine, like vomit, like pus, and they're leaking from all of your orifices. Now that it can know that it came in rivers, and recall that maybe the half-assed attempts of our perverted captures to clean the hell away was because they could not rape us holding their foul breasts. Know intrinsically the inability to protect yourself from their filthiness forcing themselves inside your half-dead body, depositing seeded semen that in the bodies of women became offspring sold from them by the same demon seeds that raped them. Do not speak the following as synonyms. Feel them instead. Make each exist as a nucleus in each and every one of your cells. Twisted, buckled, knotted, bound, atrophied, warped, sick, cruel, perverted, abnormal, misshapen, distorted, bent, malformed, collapsed, shrunken, tangled, entwined, disheveled, intertwined, emaciated, starved, withered, cadaverish, malnourished, hunted, haunted, tortured, arduous, black bodies. Stumble, barely breathing off of ships. Step up on top of the auction block, discombobulated and naked, barely alive. Come face to face with leering eyes. Feel your private parts and secret flesh compressed in the hands of a stranger who splays you open and calls into a crowd, responding in a series of sporadic calls. Stand in the midst of a language to which you are oblivious. Try to figure out what the shouting is about. Sense the dawning arise that you have survived into animal cargo, sold away from those you clung to. Learn soon that torture is the consequence for refusing to answer to the call of the animal name they brand you, and that nothing of who you were when they stole you is to exist in this new world's disorder. Sit in the filth of it, force it in, swim laps in this quagmire till your arms ache. Fill, rest your head on it at night, make friends with the nightmares of it will send, then greet it in your mornings like a long-lost friend. Let it cloud around your being and choke your breath. Breathe it in, bring into expanded lungs the stench of death and the dying. Do more than imagine our horror, remember them. I am not speaking figuratively, literally. Piece back together from dismemberment the collective. Collect these memories like cards and save them. Sit in a circle with others who have them and trade them. Speak not in the memory of the mind but of the skin. Feel the lacerated backs of our kin. Reclaim African. Feel the black in our people, the pitch dark of it that we were pitched into, and the battering that beat the nigger into us. Feel this blackness. Recollect from spiritual DNA the time and the space of a continuum refracted into a billion points of darkness. A universe inverted by the pathology of a white race that made stars out of blackness and whiteness the vacuous space that held it. This, in its specifics, is only our experience. No others have been displaced quite like this. Roots ripped, limbs torn, broken, dislocated, separated from everything into the sadomasochistic boundaries of whips, chains, and cages. My ancestors have loved me when I have not been able to love myself. They carry me in the delivery of a sensitive secret language via the drum of a beating heart that codes the message into the underground railroad of my veins, placed up into the shaded skin. In whispers, they scatter the seeds that feed the goose-pimpled fleshiness of the cautious, the signal that raises itself as racism gets set to make an appearance. Caution knows intimately the odious scent of the supremacist, speaks of it in intricate whispers to navigate the sticky minefield of a racist webbing. I will not break down this tool of survival in the binaries of science. I will not seek to prove in ones and twos that I know from what the confines of a mind indoctrinated to argue its existence in order to believe, because my ancestors through this language have allowed me to live outside this. I am here solely because I know, feel what was not ever seen or believed, and therefore skillfully hidden and not ever successfully retrieved by white minds. This is the tip, the place of the beginning. It is from here that we form a new being. Excavate this knowing. Bring forth this diamond from underneath your skin to refract back the perverse inversion of our world.